Hello, everyone. While I'm on my lunch break this morning, um, I thought I would go ahead and quickly kind of give you guys an update on what's been going on. Um, because I had just suddenly disappeared last week after releasing that video. So this is only going up on my main and my VOD channel. But to kind of explain what's been going on. So, firstly, thank you all for being patient and accepting that, you know, I was slammed, I was busy, that I had to take some time off from Twitch, and, creating content for about a week. So, I've, over the years, I have struggled with some extreme trauma, let's call it. I didn't, like I've mentioned before in many videos in the past, I didn't have a very strong family life. I have no relationship with my parents. Like, I haven't spoken to my mother in person in 3 years. My stepfather, probably more. Actually, yeah, 5 years for my stepfather. Um, when I was young, my stepfather, we used to get pissed off, get angry, and he would get violent. He was very well known for grabbing a loaded gun and had no problem threatening to kill me on multiple occasions in front of my mother. And my mother was kind of on the mentality that she supported her husband over me, and basically in her thought process, she didn't really care if I was killed, I guess. Her belief was every time it would happen, and my stepfather would run off for the night because he was pissed off and he had to blow off steam. I'd go into my room, sobbing, because or like freaked out, having major panic attacks, anxiety attacks. Um, and my mother would just basically tell me, maybe you should leave. And this went on from a really young age until I finally got out and on my own. And not to mention, the constant from my rest of the family about how, oh, your mother was always this smart. She was a straight A student. Oh, you're weak compared to your stepfather. Oh, you can't do anything. You're useless. And it was just a constant barrage of, oh, you are nothing compared to them. But yet you have to be the golden child because, we all expect you to be amazing. So back in 2018 ish, 2019, somewhere around there, 2018 at least, I finally decided to disown my parents and I changed my last name. I moved in with one of the only family members at the time I thought I could rely on, which was still really rough. There was a lot of problems between the two of us, and to this day, I still don't really trust them 100%, to be honest. I probably never will. And it's not that they're a bad person or anything like that, it's just generally I see the bad in people more than I see the good. So, with all that having happened at a young age and, it being continuous, it definitely gave me a more pessimistic attitude. And every time I did try to reach out as a kid, I just got shut down. So I got very accustomed to bottling up my problems and my emotions. So basically, from a young age, I've always kind of been more numb to the world. And so because of this kind of habit of bottling up my emotions, it was okay while I was smoking a lot of weed because the weed would, in a sense, help me continue to put more and more away and off to the side. And it was, easier. Weed puts me in a better mood generally, helps me, doesn't help me focus, but calms me enough to keep my mentality going and kind of pushes away the depression I suffer from. And it helps me sleep because my anxiety disorder causes my heartbeat to be to an extreme. I have a very high heartbeat, always have, since I was really little, even before I started drinking caffeine. Um, and yeah, and that's probably because of the trauma I faced. That's not to account for the third degree burns that my stepfather caused me to the point where I had flesh at a young age burn off. They had to do a full skin graft at a young age on me. Um, and then, there's a lot to go into, and I don't think it's fair to go into on a YouTube video or because I think it can be very triggering for a lot of people. But the big thing to kind of note through all this is that, when I went through all this stuff, I developed a natural tendency of coping with it by bottling things away and being very untrustworthy of people. And it's led to issues. Now, when I got out of college, or when I got into university at Portland State, um, I started looking into the options of therapy, and then when I finally got a job where it was gonna be on my plan and basically paid for, I hopped on. So for pretty much the entirety of 2021, I was seeing a therapist until late September. At which point I changed companies and my company no longer worked. They still had the ability to do therapy and see a psychiatrist, but they didn't have the same therapist or psychiatrist, so I couldn't go back to my old one that really worked really well, who was really helping me out and being there. So I had to find a new one. And around that time, as many of you know, me and Calvin broke up. He dumped me second week of September, which didn't help the situation. Because that was the same. The same week I think was my last session with that therapist. So yeah, I lost that, and then I decided, I'm not healthy, but I'm better now. I'm going to the gym consistently. I'm eating healthier. Mentally, I was having a good time. I was pretty heartbroken though, but I just kind of pushed it to the side, like I usually do with most of my emotions, and so I basically at that point kind of continued on like nothing was wrong. And there were nights that I was sleeping where I was, just really upset because Calvin and I were very close. He was one of my generally like first people that I've dated that I actually really cared about, I think to an extreme. As far as it goes, I think there's only been two other relationships I would say off the top of my head that are like that. Man, the garbage truck today is just he's rattling and rolling. But yeah, so when we broke up, it really hurt, and instead of processing and dealing with the emotions, I do what I usually do, which is I bottle up and smoked weed. Uh, Cut to beginning of this month, yeah, and I finally imploded. My emotions finally burst out, and I got really angry with the group about some stupid joke, and lost a couple friends as I mentioned. A few did rejoin, and we started up a new Discord server and kind of got things kind of with a fresh slate. And as one of the kind of conditions that my friends would rejoin and kind of come back, they wanted me to talk more about like the PTSD that I was diagnosed with from my youth, and like to talk about that. And it's not something I easily talk about. It's definitely not something I easily want to reach out about when I'm feeling like I don't have support. And to be honest, most of my life it's always been on me. Like there's never been a support system. I fail or succeed by myself, for myself. Even now, like as far as working, I don't have like no family is gonna. If I suddenly tomorrow got laid off and couldn't find work, no one in my family would be there. No, I can't expect my friends to be there because they don't make anything. They can't open up their homes or offer anything. So basically, I have no system. I am 100% do or die by myself, and that adds a lot of stress to your body. Over time, add that to not having processed the breakup. Now planning to go back to school for my master's next year, because I'll be starting my master's program in September of 2023. Moving in September of this year. I'm moving back to Portland, so that way I can attend classes. And then also trying to get a promotion at work right now that I am coming up to in September, October as well, that I am trying to get promoted for, so that I can make more money because money is always a problem. Also trying to save up every cent right now to be able to go to college for my master's program, and then planning all that out and figuring all that out on top of like I said, with work, on top of trying to get this. I'm going on vacation It's not a vacation. It's me. I'm showing up in June to my great aunt so she can put me to work, basically. I don't get vacations, is kind of the mentality. I'm coming down to move a bunch of shit for her, and then she wants to check out a fair of some sort that 50-50 I'm even interested. To be honest, I didn't even plan to go. I'm not really big on that kind of stuff, but because for a vacation for me, I just want to go spend some time in Europe, stuff like that. Go to see Asia, go to Canada. And that's what I was planning, but, it's a lot of times it's just my family or my great aunt wanting me to come out and help her with something. And it's like, and it led to me definitely making some interesting decisions. I mean, I don't mind helping her out because she helped me out so much. Ooh, camera focus. Camera. Ooh, hello. There we go. Hello. My camera has decided to lose focus for some reason. Let me see. That didn't do it. Let me. Okay. No. Alright, well, we just lost our camera. Because my cam has decided not to work for me. Oops, that's something else I was working on. Well, I guess I'm doing the rest of this without a camera. Anyways, so yeah. So as I was saying, one of the things that's kind of come up was dealing with that kind of stuff, and it has been an issue. It has been a detriment to my mental health. I never get to relax or kick back. It feels like a lot of times, and on top of that, you add a dating life that I barely attend to, and then my sleep schedule, and all that, it has been balling up. So I finally went to see a psychiatrist, right? And one of the things, come on, deactivate, inactivate, god damn it. So one of the things that I tried to do is I tried to go see a psychiatrist, and I went to go talk to 3 other therapists, and basically what came of it, well, the psychiatrist was what we call a 1-minute diagnosis. It means that they were more interested in just giving me an immediate diagnosis without hearing what the problem was. So a good example is I mentioned I had anxiety issues, to the point where I can't sleep. So their first question was, how much coffee do you drink? Well, 30 ounces of coffee a day, plus some pre-workout. And they go, that's a lot of caffeine, right? That's probably where your anxiety is coming from. And I said, okay, well, what about the fact that I've had this anxiety disorder since I was 12, when I was first had my life threatened by my stepfather? What about then? And the therapist or the psychiatrist said, well, that doesn't matter. What it is now is this. And I'm like, okay, well, so that's not correct, and that's also not very helpful in the slightest, to be honest. I said, I was kind of mad about it, to be honest. Overall, I did all this work and I was just basically ignored. So, that was, and then, when I talked about the depression, the fatigue I've been feeling, they're like, well, you say you work out at 3 a.m. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, that's it. That's what causes it. That's why you're tired. And I said, well, I've only been working out at 3 a.m. for the last year, the last 2 years. Since early 2021. They go, well, doesn't matter. That's what it is. It's your gym membership. You need to stop working out as much during the mornings. In fact, you should probably stop working out. And I'm like, oh, so I should just get fat and unhealthy? And they're like, no, but you shouldn't be exercising to such an extreme. 2 hours is a lot. Okay. And then I said, well, what about my PTSD? And they said, well, that's obviously just caused because of the fact that, all of you young kids have that. And I was just like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. I'm not going to put up with this bullshit. So I think the psychiatrist, and they're like, well, you should go see this group called EDM and spend $100 per session in person to go get set up for, so they can help you with your PTSD. And I said, okay, well, I'm moving in September. And they're like, well, it doesn't matter. you need to start this now, and you need to stay in Seattle where you're at because you need to be able to do this for a while. And I'm like, okay. So it wasn't really helpful. It was just like, do this, do this, do this, and I'm going to ignore everything you've talked about. And that kind of basically turned me off to the idea of working with a psychiatrist almost completely, because I realized pretty early on that I should not expect any assistance whatsoever from the psychiatrist. They don't have an interest in helping me. They just want to get a quick paycheck and leave, which is basically my general belief, my general dealings with all the medical industry. It's why I don't see a doctor unless I need my shots, or option B, something is like extremely wrong with me. Because all they do is they just want to collect a paycheck and leave. There's no, let me find the problem, let's, just look through some stuff. It was just generally always, oh, no, you're fine. Turns out a week later, you broke your collarbone. Oh, wow. How did the physician, the sports physician at your high school that gets paid, only $20 an hour, figure that out? But a doctor I just paid $1,000 to see for 10 minutes said I was perfectly fine. And turns out, yeah, no, I did have a broken collarbone. And that's generally my experience working with the medical industry and working with generally people who are supposed to help you. So I also went to see 3 therapists and got the same response as the psychiatrist. It was the coffee, all the caffeine I was drinking was causing my anxiety. But because of the fact that I'm not willing to get off caffeine, they're not willing to help me. And I'm like, but I've had these issues long before I ever drank coffee. I only started drinking coffee, for the record, in late 2019. I've had anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder, or anxiety issues and panic attacks, at 12 years old, which would have been back in like the early 2000s. So, I realized that, these therapists don't care. They don't want to help me. And so what I kind of came to the conclusion is I can't expect help from professionals in my experience. I mean, I've gotten 1 good and then like now 12 bad. And I'm not willing to sit here and spend $10 every other week or every other day to try and hopefully find a good therapist for when I'm working with a company I probably won't even be working for in another year, and that's kind of the situation where I'm at, because there's a good chance in September / October I could switch companies to get the promotion I want. If my company won't offer me that promotion, I'm going to go to another company that'll give me the promotion I want. That's how my industry works. And so it's like, there's no point, it feels like, to even bothering. And I know many are going to ask, why don't you rely on your friends that you game with? And, I can't put that kind of pressure on them. The shit that is wrong with me, like, I have a pretty good understanding of where the trauma is and what the trauma is. It's more of getting a way to not fix it, but better deal with it and better express my emotions and get to that point. It does definitely take someone who has a better understanding of how the mind and body works, but finding someone who's willing to offer that and focus on the actual patient rather than just focus on, let me get through another number on the list, really isn't easy. Another thing I do find definitely is I don't tend to open up to men, especially because of the fact that I have a lot of hatred for my stepfather and my biological father and my grandfather, as well as most of the male teachers I had throughout schooling. They were outright. I spent so many years just being insulted and disrespected by them, and I couldn't do anything about it. And that it bothered me to such a degree that I just don't open up to men anymore. The irony, because I'm bisexual, and it's actually one of the reasons why I don't date much, is because of the fact that everyone wants you to open up about your emotions and be touchy-feely, and I don't have that available to me as easily. So, one of the things that I did is I went to a male psychiatrist, and when it was just outright disrespect, rudeness, and nothing but him complaining about how he hates the service, he hates working with the patients, and, he didn't really listen to anything I said. It was just like, what's the point? And the therapists I saw, the 3 female therapists I saw, all kind of treated me the same. It was like, okay, I'm not going to actually listen to your problems. I'm just going to kind of go through everything and move on, and just give you, immediate fixes to this. And I just realized it's just therapy and psychiatry don't work real well for me. Just like, going to the doctors to get something looked at doesn't work well for me because, doctors are, for the most part, idiots from what I've found, barely know anything about medicine. They study so hard, but it's the same as the guys I met in finance, We all graduated, but of all of us who actually managed to graduate, only a few of them would I ever trust. Actually, I can't think of more than one that I would actually trust in a class of, 300. One per other person that I would trust that actually knew what they were doing, rather than just bullshit their way through. And that's, how I treat psychiatrists, therapists, and doctors. Most generally just showed up for the paycheck or went through schooling for the paycheck. Anybody can pass a class if you take it enough times. So I kind of came to this realization that, I gotta work on myself and figure out a way to help myself. So going forward, what I'm going to be doing, I'm still going to be streaming. I'm still going to be, gaming with the guys and having a good time and running the Silent Stoner, running the indie. But one of the definite things I need to be better at is noticing when I'm starting to degrade mentally, so that I can kind of step away before I explode, and try and go and process what's going on. And that's one of the things I used to do a lot while I was in college and I was very good at. I've stopped doing that as I've become, more of an adult and been working and everything like that because, other things take precedence in my life. And I need to move past that kind of mentality. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and it's not going to be easy going forward. So, kind of going forward, what's going to kind of change is I'm still going to be doing a bunch of YouTube stuff. I'm going to do creation, content, content creation, all that still. But there might be days where I just decide I don't want to stream because I need to step away. Or there might be days where I outright just decide, you know what, I'm going to, stream this, or stream that. I also noticed that with my streaming, one of the things I was getting tired of was playing too much of one game. I really enjoyed the achievement hunting, but there was a certain point where I just needed to take a break from that game and definitely find something else to play. So, now I am planning to do some other gaming. Like this week, I want to do some Stellaris before Overlord comes out. And just, and then when Overlord comes out, explore that a bunch. As well as, get more Minecraft going. And that's kind of my mentality. I plan to continue, smoking weed and relaxing. And I do definitely think I need to treat myself a little bit more often. And, try and work on that stuff. Last thing I know I need to work on is I need to find a better time to go to the gym because these 3 a.m. workouts, well, they're fantastic when I do go to the gym, which is about 4 to 5 times a week. The problem is getting motivated at 3 a.m. and getting out of bed to go do it. I think one of the things that definitely hasn't helped my mental health has been waking up so early and then having everything in the afternoons and evenings. I just feel like I don't have enough time most of the time. And I think that's something I need to work on. So what I'm going to practice doing today and going forward, and what I kind of want people to hold me more to, is today after stream, I'm going to go to the gym. And then I'm going to... today after stream. To be fair, not today. It won't be starting. It starts tomorrow because of the fact that I have a dental appointment today at 3:30, so I won't be able to stream for very long. I'm only going to get about an hour stream in today, which is, fine in my opinion. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing that, and then starting tomorrow, because of the fact that I'm going to the dentist, I don't want to go to the dentist and then go to the gym because I'm always dehydrated after the dentist. So yeah, starting tomorrow, I'm going to start going to the gym after stream. So what that means is I'm going to stream for from 2 to 3 p.m. I'm going to then head to the gym, and then I'm going to come back and stream again. That's my general plan going forward, and what I kind of want to do. I think it'll be healthier for me to do. And I think and then I can stay up a little bit later and kind of game a bit more, because I won't have to get up so early. And I think that's going to be better. I think that switching my wake up time to like 5:30 in the morning, so I have about like 15 minutes to kind of get up, get my stuff situated, and then get on my work laptop, will definitely be a mental health improvement. And then working out in the evenings when I've had all this stress built up and I'm not in the greatest mood might be easier. My biggest issue is definitely getting into a gym during those hours is when a lot of people go, and I don't like working out around people, which is typically why I like to work out at 3 a.m. But I also understand it's getting to that point where I need to change something, and the first thing that comes to mind is maybe it's my sleep schedule. Um, Maybe that's why I'm crankier. I definitely know a lot of my stress builds up throughout the day, so. But I made a long ass video of this, which wasn't meant to be, and my camera's down, so let me wrap it up. So, in short, going forward, we're going to be playing games on whatever I'm feeling like playing that day. Um, I need to get better at communicating with my friends when I'm going through a tough time at that moment. And then on top of that, I need to update my gyms and sleep schedule to better accommodate a schedule. And what I might end up doing is I may switch up, just go straight to the gym after my work, which, head out like 1:45 my time, go to the gym, and then come back to stream like, from 3:30 to, like 6, 7 o'clock, because I think that would be more fun and would give more interest to the content I'm producing and all that. So that's kind of my goal going forward for this year, for 2022, is updating my sleep schedule, my gym schedule, continuing to eat healthy, and continuing to train like a madman, as well as try and work on this mental health issue. And maybe more videos talking about this stuff and exploring it. I haven't decided yet, but yeah. So we'll be back to our regular streaming schedule this week, probably starting tomorrow. Once I get kind of set up with what I'm doing and how I want to do things, and we'll see where things go from there. But yeah. So today, which is the 10th of May, we're going to do an hour stream, then I have my dentist appointment, and then I'll stream after that, and then starting tomorrow, I'm gonna get up at like 5 a.m. ish, and then, kind of relax, wake up in the morning, maybe do a light ab workout, just so that way I get my core workout in no matter what, and then come, 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., head off to the gym. I'm also going to talk to my boss about maybe using my hour lunch during the middle of the day instead to go do my gym time, which I might. We'll kind of see how things go. So, yeah, that's the general thing, and we'll kind of work on it from there. Thank you all for kind of watching this video, and I appreciate your understanding and patience with me.